welcome to Patch for another week. I'm your host, Paul James. What you'll be noticing right now is this is a little bit different. What you're getting this week is a special crossover episode between the regular Player 2 podcast and one of your weekly episodes of Patch. This past weekend, myself and Jay, along with a range of others from the Player 2 team, all went to PAX Australia. And we've recorded a crossover of, like we said, the Player 2 podcast and Patched. Jay was unable to make it. There was a couple others from the Player 2 team who were unable to make it. But you've got myself, Matt Hewson, Stevie, Jenn, Stephen, as well as Adam, who makes a fool of himself. Make sure to look out for it. All there to discuss everything we saw, heard and loved about PAX Australia 2016. So please kick back, enjoy. Matt's going to take the helm on this one. We'll see you later.
Hello and welcome to this special Player 2 podcast live from PAX. Last episode was at EB Expo, this time it's at PAX. We seem to only do these things when there's a big special show on. Of course, it's me, Matt Hewson. I'm hosting again. I know you all love my voice so much, that's why I keep doing this. But not to drown you in awesomeness, I've brought a heap of other awesome people along to join and talk about everything we've seen at PAX. We have, we'll just go around in a circle, we have Paul.
Hey guys.
We've got Stevie.
Hello.
We've got a very ill Jenn.
Hi.
Hi. We've got Stephen.
Hoi hoi.
And we've got Adam.
Hello.
So we've got a good crew here. We've also got Ken and Matthew from Player 2 here, but they couldn't make the podcast. They're busy doing important things at the show floor. So all we're going to do today is talk about what we've seen at PAX, what we've liked, what we haven't liked, the fun, the games, the craziness that is this wonderful mishmash of pop culture and board games and weird cosplay outfits and all that sort of fun stuff that we come for every year. So I might just throw to Paul. We'll kick it off. Let's start with something easy. Best game on the floor.
I haven't played that. We've got far more informed people in here. Probably even Jen's got more idea than I do.
That's funny.
I'm only partially kidding. Because I've not played much. I've had a crack at Kieru.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
Kieru, yeah.
From the indie section, and then Final Fantasy 15 are the only two things I've actually gotten near in my entire time here, which is a far cry to last year where I felt like I'd played anything and everything by the end of the first day. So I guess Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15. Kieru is a nice looking game though. I think I've talked about it before.
Looking really good.
It's a cool concept of black versus white with only red. Is it still the red
Black and
blood
white,
trail?
red all over, yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's come a long way since I saw it last year.
Yeah, it's looking a lot sharper compared to what it did.
Well, they changed engines.
They've made the jump from Unity to Unreal.
Yeah. So, that's looking fun. All right then, Final Fantasy fans.
It's the same build that I played at the EB Expo, and I'm real glad that I played it again. When we played at EB, I only played about the first 10 minutes or so, and then because it was that 1 hour before the public got in, I was bolting around trying to get at everything and anything. So this time I actually finished the demo. Well, until we got the tap on the shoulder and saying,
bugger off.
Get out.
I think I got further than you in the demo by a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Not that it's a competition, but he won.
Yeah. Jen's played hours of it, so.
Yeah, I played the first 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what's the combat like?
It's good.
Yeah, it's real time?
Yeah.
But like abilities have like cooldowns or a cost to them or anything like that?
Yeah, you have, I think it's like TP, like technical points or something. And so when they deplete, you obviously can't keep using your abilities.
Because I heard people liken it a bit to Crisis Core, which
yes,
I love
very
Crisis
much
Core.
like Crisis Core.
Crisis Core.
Really good.
Yeah.
I found a little bit kind of Kingdom Heartsy in the way you can sort of zoom around when you use the triangle button to choose different points in the scenery to jump up to and then walk down and attack the enemies as well. I poked around in the menu a little bit, and it looks like you can switch between like the active time battle and then switch it back to the weight system and a few other things. So it could play a little differently compared to what.
Well, that's not a bad idea. I know I Am Setsuna recently had the option to switch between the active and the weight, and I know I played at weight because that was the old school way of doing things. So.
The right way.
Yeah.
One thing we did notice as we were, because the way they had the Final Fantasy 15 booth set up was one side was 6 Xbox consoles and the other side was the PlayStation 4 consoles, and Gotta say, when we walked past,
we
checking
cycled
both
back
out,
past
the
the Xbox and
the Xbox one's looking a bit blurrier than the PlayStation 4, considering they're all using the same AV setup.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
look, that
What?
could be anything. there.
Xbox is worse than PlayStation.
I know.
What?
Shocking, I know.
Get us in the comments.
Yes, yes. Jen jumped on that quickly, I noticed.
As soon as you said it, I'm like, yes.
It's all right. We had Tomb Raider first.
We have it with VR.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to Stevie. Stevie's been here wandering around and bringing the kids this
Yeah.
year, and they got right involved.
They have, yeah. I've not actually played a great deal myself, but the kids have played a little bit. They had to go mostly in the Indie Pavilion, although Kenny was really keen on Gravity Rush 2. So
Yeah.
that was
Oh.
pretty good, yeah.
No influence from Dad there at all.
None of
No.
But yeah, so in the Indie Pavilion, I think we saw Inflatality and Harvest, and we had a quick look at objects in space and Wildfire and what's that, Adventure
Paradigm?
Pals?
Oh, yeah, the Adventure
yeah,
Pals,
that
yeah.
one. Yeah, we just looked at those. It was a bit too much of a line for Penny's cosplay to hang around too long. So, but yeah, the kids were right into everything. They were just enthusiastic like kids are.
What do you think of Wildfire?
I think it looks beautiful.
Doesn't it?
I've
Yeah.
only played a very, very tiny smattering of it, but it seems to be very much like a Dan Hines, the developer, and I'm not sure who else is involved in it, but I know a few other people are.
He's definitely the front man.
Yeah, I think he's got someone to do music and a few people to help with the art, but it seems like a really he's looking at the whole picture. He's got every detail. It's got to dovetail nicely with the next one. The music has to match the art, and the art has to match the story, and the story has to match the point he's trying to make.
Kind of
And, yeah.
holistic approach to game development.
Yes, yeah.
And we'll be
Do it
doing a feature on that
Japanese.
game shortly after PAX.
When you ever get around to it.
It's so hopefully I'll be doing an interview
Yeah.
with Dan tomorrow.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for Wildfire.
I've definitely kept an eye on it for quite a while now, and I like what I see. And I got to play through the first few levels for the first time ever,
Oh, nice.
and it plays exactly. It's like I already knew how the game was meant to be played just from following its production on Twitter, which is very powerful of social media. Dan's really good at it. Something else that you probably look at is like being a professional social media dude fella.
Official title.
That's the official job
Yes.
title.
We'll make cards for
That
it.
on your business card?
All right, now we're going to go to the person that saw the least.
Yay.
For those that haven't caught on, Jen's been ill. She flew down from Sydney and caught the
pre-PAX pox.
pre-PAX pox and has been cuddling her toilet ever since.
My life is great. I love it. Everything is bliss.
So what was your favourite game?
Final Fantasy 15.
Just thought of those beautiful
Porcelain
man
Hugging
characters.
2.0.
That's all I need. That's all I
All
need.
those digital apps.
Was there anything you were particularly excited to see that you're not going to see?
I was really just excited to go.
Yeah.
To see anything, really. That would have been great.
Even the inside of the
Bottom of it.
Yeah,
the bottom of the exhibition centre.
Just even getting outside the exhibition centre would have been awesome, to be honest.
We'll show you some photos.
Send you a postcard. Wish you were
Maybe even like picking up my pass so I had some sort of memory. But I
We'll
got,
go grab one for you.
got nothing. Got absolutely nothing. I'm loving life.
But you did make the podcast, so that shows some commitment.
Please talk to someone else now.
We'll be back to Jen in just a minute.
We're having some technical difficulties.
All right then, Stephen. What tickled your fancy?
Same thing I say every year. This will be the third year in a row. The indie stuff is way more interesting than any of the AAA stuff that's happening down there. Most of it you can already buy, and if you can't, you'll be buying it in a month or two. So I had no patience for the 90-minute wait times for a lot of that stuff. Paul and I checked out the Kingdom Hearts line and checked out within about 4 seconds when we did the math and realised we'd be standing there for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
We foolishly stood in the Final Fantasy line for 40 minutes, not realising that there was a 20-minute time on the demo, and we thought they were rotating people out a bit quicker, but
By the
we
time
were in too deep to get out.
by the time we
just
realised
had
there
to
was
stick
no
it out.
reason to jump out of that stage.
So that was pretty cool, because that's something I've been wary of for a while. Final Fantasy 13 burned me pretty hard, and I actually sold my entire Final Fantasy collection, which was every PlayStation title with guidebooks and things like that. It was
What?
Wow.
very painful for me.
Get out.
Well, one game has done this.
It was 3 games, to be fair.
Yeah, it was 3 games.
Yeah.
I only had to review one of them, thankfully, and I think that's only because Pete had had enough and couldn't
Yeah,
handle
Pete had done the
another one.
first 2 and cracked the shits and refused to do the final one.
Obviously, I was with Paul when he was checking out Kieru, which is really cool. I checked it out last year, and as I said, it looks like it's come a bit further. Went and talked to some of the devs of some of the indie showcase titles that we've ran features on. So on Paradigm, which if you haven't checked it out, definitely jump onto the website. They've got a demo on there, and the only way I can describe that game is Space Quest via Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Hilarious as well, and just a really quirky sense of humour to it, so I thoroughly recommend.
Is that in the
checking
PAX
that
Rising
out.
section?
Yeah, that's the showcase section.
That's the showcase?
Eyes of Ara, which is by a one-man dev team, Ben Drost, who's one of the few Brisbane devs down here at the moment. It's really cool. Already available on Steam.
No.
It's coming to iOS. I think
Yeah.
he's aiming for mid next year because he said he's doing the port himself.
Okay.
And he's scheduled about 6 months, and he's going to see how it goes. Still working to get over to Mini Metro, which is a pretty funky title. Their booth has seemed pretty popular. Every time I've gone over to say hi, there's a ton of people there, so obviously I don't want to bug them when they're working hard. And Malodrops, I went and talked to John, the developer of Malodrops. Such a lovely guy. I can't wait to put that interview together. And an awesome game, which is available now. I think it's $10 on Steam.
Yeah.
Which is
Really
fantastic.
trippy little puzzle game.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and just the graphical style, I think, is like really. I asked him about it, and I was like, it was a conscious decision to sort of put this really calming, sort of even color palette in there, and he said that was part of it. But it's one of those kind of puzzle games where, from the parts that I've played of it, you can just sort of lose yourself in it for a little while, and it's not in a frustrating sense where you just play some puzzle games just like, oh, you mother trucker, throwing your controller
that's what I
down like.
say,
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, he meant fuck.
I'm trying to avoid the E tag.
No, we wear the E tag with pride. That's fine.
I think John just won 2 awards too, didn't
He
he?
Yeah.
did. He said that he actually said that all the other devs have been giving him a bit of stick about that because when he won the awards for Killing Time at Lightspeed, which is his other game last year, he said they were ribbing him to put award-winning developer on his business card, and now they were like, now you've got to put multi-award-winning developer on his business card.
It's a badge to be worn with pride, I think. There was a really good group this year at the awards. So
There's a lot more space for the indies this year as well. It seems like without Wargaming or LOL there with their really loud, obnoxious displays booming over the floor,
Shots fired.
they've given some more space to the indies, and it's a bit of a calmer vibe in there, I think, this year. And a lot of people, it's really great to see the amount of foot traffic going through that indie area, especially for people who, you would look at them and think they would traditionally be sticking to just the Ubisoft area and a lot of the AAA stuff, and they're getting in there and like finding some stuff that's maybe a little bit offbeat that they wouldn't normally.
Well, even within that space, the indies have had a bit more time to breathe because with the massive AAA presence in the past and League of Legends and the amount of space they take up, those indies are so squashed, have been so squashed together in the past that they're basically stepping on top of one another.
Well, they can fit a lot more
Instantly
people
now
around the
you
displays
can-
this year,
yeah.
which I've noticed,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
There's still a few more that I want to get down and check out. I mean, Inflatality, which I looked at last year, is there again, and that's always a bit of fun, even just to spectate on.
yeah. Crazy physics 101
Yeah.
Vita thing. Yeah. I always think of that Family Guy. Crazy and
Wacky
weird.
Wavy.
Yeah,
Yeah, Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Wacky waving and flavor.
All right, Adam.
Yes.
You've been busy hunting through all the games.
Oh, I really have been. Today's been such a good day. And just to echo what Stephen was saying, I almost feel we don't need to say this anymore, but the indie stuff is just fantastic.
No, you're right. We don't need to say.
Yeah, we really don't. Say it again. Well, it seems like I know 2
Video.
years ago when I came to PAX, it was just as good then, but now it's better. So, I mean, it really is just highlighting just this local talent that we already knew existed in Australia, and now we have this big event where we can all appreciate this hard work. And it's just such original ideas and passion, which I feel is sometimes lacking from some AAA developer games. So, Like Steve, I've been checking out a bunch of games. I checked out Wildfire, of course, so we won't go over that. I checked out Forts, which is build your own fort, build its defenses, build its weapons, and everything like that. And then all these weapons have cooldowns on them, and your goal is to take down the other fort. It is so much fun. I mean, even the short demo that I played, you could just tell there's this strategy where it's like, okay, if I see him doing that, I can build my fort this way, which will block those attacks, and then I can counter with this, which he can't hit. And then you launch that, and they're like, oh wait, he can stop that because he's got this thing down here. It's just everything playing together in it. So it's not this rock, paper, scissors, turn-based thing which could potentially be bad. It's this almost like you have to pick your moments to attack every time. So much fun. What else did I play? So Nuclear Throne was there, which is brilliant. It's a very Enter the Gungeon type game, but all the maps are procedurally generated. Yeah, it's so good. So much fun. I got to chat with the lead developer on that, and he was fantastic, of course. Oh, what else? So many games. Some AAA stuff I went and played when we actually had a chance to. I got to play the new Tekken 7 game, Fated Retribution, which is coming out early next year. Yep. It's looking pretty close to finish now, but the only thing I can think that they're still adding is characters. It's still like about half the cast seems to be there. But this big story campaign mode, this is meant to be the last story in the whole Mishima family storyline, which has gone for 7 Tekkens now.
7 plus 2 tags.
It's been done. I mean, I thought Tekken was going to die after 5. I thought 5 was okay, but it's like the story was just so ridiculous. I went, it just seems like a rehash. And they had this big break, and then they're bringing out 7, which still isn't out yet, and it's looking fantastic. One of the biggest changes they did, though, they put Akuma in there, which is a Street Fighter character. And for those that don't know, it's a 2D fighter, Street Fighter, and then you've got a 3D fighter, which is Tekken. They don't work together, and yet they put this character in there who plays exactly like Street Fighter into a 3D world, and it changes everything. It's like suddenly you can't fight that character the same way you would fight any other character in the cast. And it's actually going to bring people over from Street Fighter who go, oh, well, I know how to play that. I know his combos and stuff, so this is what I'm going to do. So I played about 15 minutes of that. It was excellent. And I played a little bit of World of Final Fantasy, but it's out now, so no one really wants to hear about that. And I did get to play the demo of the South Park game, Fractured Butthole.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to put a bit more of a pause in there. Fractured
You're still getting a kick at
hole.
Every time.
What a child.
Every time.
I mean, what can be said? Like, it looks and plays, at least initially, very similar to the Stick of Truth, but the humour is right there, so everything feels fresh. They're now going with their superhero personas, and it's just hilarious. I'm laughing as I'm playing the demo.
Like when I played at EB Expo, were you only allowed to play as the speedster?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I tried to select everything else. I thought there was a bug with the game, so I'm trying to select everything, and I can't, and then Speedster was the only thing I could select. But also halfway through my playthrough, the sound bugged out, got into a loop, and then my controller died. I went, well, that's fun.
That's great.
Did you at least get to do the farting first?
No.
Oh,
No,
it's like
so-
one of the best bits. You sit down,
spread the
you
cheeks,
spread the left and right stick as if you're spreading his cheeks, and then I think it was the trees.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And that's how you let loose.
I think enough people have warned us off the Noseless Rift.
Noseless Rift. Yeah, no one was game enough to try that. I know a few people that would reckon that was haunting their nose for a couple of days afterwards using it. So
I think it's really interesting because I know after Stick of Truth, Matt and Trey said they didn't want to do another game.
yeah,
But the fact that they've come back and those guys, I don't think they'll intentionally put out a shoddy product.
no, I think
Ever.
what's happened with the Stick of Truth had such a long and pain in the butt development process because it went through multi-developers, and when THQ shut down, it was in limbo for ages. And I
You
think
can
it-
understand not wanting to go back.
yeah,
isn't it?
and but then it came out to such, like, it had no right to be as good as it was with that sort of development behind it, and so I think they're happy because they've got a stable team and
Yeah, you don't have to worry about.
don't have to worry about all
going
that other
bust.
crap.
I think it'll be interesting to see them sort of cycle through different themes and genres if they keep going because obviously they're maybe playing with the RPG genre at the moment. They had their turn-based battle system last time. This one's a more strategy RPG.
It's almost like advanced
system.
warfare sort of thing, yeah.
But then it'll just be interesting to see where they take it from there.
They could do their anime characters.
That would be amazing.
All right, for me, the real highlight has been Hand of Fate 2. I loved the first Hand of Fate. I thought it was really cool. I love the whole idea of it. I still play it to this day. If I've got half an hour, I'll just sit down and play Hand of Fate and just play through one of the chapters. And the second one is looking stunning. They've obviously put a lot of work into how it looks and feels. It's a lot smoother now. There's none of the pop-in that was kind of a problem in the first one. Frame rate's good, graphics great, and there's a new structure to it. So instead of just having continual chapters and then a boss battle as the cards roll out, there's now an open table with challenges on it, and you can attack those challenges whenever you want, and each challenge has a different end focus. The one I played, you were being tracked by Death, who's going to assassinate you, and the only way to survive him was to have a maximum health of 111 at the end of the round.
Man, Death is a jerk.
So if you went through the whole thing without getting the right cards or making the right decisions, you wouldn't have enough health at the end, and you'd be dead, and you'd have to redo the challenge. The dealer's back, so that really cool, creepy dealer voice guy with the deep voice, and the guy you played in the original is now the Emperor.
Yeah.
Oh.
For those of you only listening, Adam's had a little incident with a bottle of water. So if you wish to see how that played out, watch this week's PAX. It's on YouTube right now.
There'll be slow-mo replays.
That water went right up my nose.
Matt, with Hand of Fate 2, did they run you through on PC or Xbox?
PC. It's coming to both though at the same time.
Because Paul and I saw it down in the little Xbox section running on the Xbox One, and I was going to ask you because at least to my eyes, from what I played of the original Hand of Fate, at least the Xbox version didn't look too dissimilar to that on PC. And I was going to say, like, what else have they added to it? But
it looks like they've just spent a lot of time. I mean, it looked pretty good originally, Hand of Fate. It looked nice. It just had a few.
just technical.
Yeah, technical things. Obviously that come with a small team doing something quite ambitious. So I think they've obviously put the time into just smoothing everything out. Everything looks just that little bit nicer. Everything runs that bit quicker. Combat's got some new additions to it. There's special moves after you reach a combo of 8. And then there's finisher moves for stunned enemies and things like that are all pretty easy to use. I mean, if you've played Batman, you can play the combat in Hand of Fate.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a really interesting idea. It's all made in Australia. Kim, the producer, Kim Allen, who we've interviewed on the site before when Hand of Fate came out, she ran me through the game and was talking about some of their goals. The character you played in the original is now the bad guy. It's 100 years later. He's now the Emperor.
I just bought the original this morning.
No, you won't find that out in the original. That's not spoiling anything in the original. There's not much story in the original, to be honest. And the dealer's training you to take him down. So yeah, it's good, really good. I really like it, and I can't wait for it to come out.
Hopefully, we'll see another feature about that one.
Yes, I'm writing something. Literally, it's on
It's
the screen behind Audacity as we're
files are
recording.
in the computer.
Little behind the scenes for you there.
Yes. So I mean, PAX obviously isn't just about games. It's about a whole bunch of other stuff.
It's about
Tabletops and panels and things like that. Was there anything? Yeah, alcohol. That's tonight, people.
I know there was something Paul James was looking for in the tabletop section that he couldn't find.
I've never indulged in tabletop stuff whatsoever. It's just historically not clicked with me, and this still may be the case. But I did want to buy and see that this past week, Final Fantasy, the trading card game, is launched.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went to go buy myself a starter deck, and they're clean sold out. With the promise that maybe they might have some more tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I won't get my hopes up. But I'm really excited.
Really excited.
I probably won't indulge in too much actual competitive stuff, but I'll happily collect all the cards because I'm a massive dork.
I could have bought a deck, but I didn't.
Why?
Because I
Too
didn't
busy
know.
choking on his water.
I had no idea how to play it. Putting it up my nose, thank you very much, which effectively did choke me. So a friend of mine was taking me by earlier on in the day. I didn't know that it had just come out in Australia or anything like that. And then I have seen some people do some like playthroughs. Like apparently it's quite popular. I didn't realise how popular
It's been
it
big
was.
in Japan. It's slowly started creeping its way
I think
over
the
here.
States are like, they went a bit ape over it a little while ago as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
There's 3 decks available at the moment, one based on Final Fantasy 13, your favourite, as well
I
as...
think you'll find it's a lot of people's favourite, Paul.
as well as 10 and 7, I believe.
So it's still on
Well,
the
7 will have to be.
Presumably more to come. But
Yeah.
Maybe when they put 8.
for what it's worth, I couldn't even find 13.
Well,
so
8's the
it's-
only good one, so.
You're a fool.
so where's that door?
The pinnacle of that franchise and gaming itself is Final Fantasy.
It's Chrono Trigger.
Game number 2.
I actually had a tabletop experience, which I've never had before, because I got a...
Is this okay to say on a podcast?
Yeah,
right.
That's a really weird way of saying it.
It's,
I'm just going to take my feet off.
it's
It's not the table all the cheese and crackers are on, is it?
No. Let's keep in mind, they're the gutters, people. So I got this PR email anyway that said, we've got a surprise game announcement, come and check it out, and we'll organise so you can have some time with the developer. I went, oh yeah, all right, I'll do that. And they were quite, really keen to get people there. And I said, well, what sort of game is it? And she said, no, it's a surprise. All right, I'll play along. I turned up, it's a tabletop game, it wasn't even a video game, so...
That's how they
good.
stung you.
Yeah, they stung me, and I kind of thought, oh, all right, I suppose I'm here now, I may as well give it a crack. I had a shitload of fun, that was good fun. I had sat down with the developer, the guy that actually made the game. It's Australian made, and it was literally launched yesterday at PAX.
Oh, nice.
It's called Final War, and it's a tabletop card game. And I've never really played anything like that, but I mean, I've played Magic and stuff on the computer and Hearthstone. But that's about as close as I've ever gotten. I had a lot of fun. It was quite a quick... I was always worried about these games taking 4 hours to play, but this has got this quick play mode that we played, and we played... it's like a best of 3 rounds, and we did that in about 40 minutes. We played it, we had fun. It's a bit of reading of the cards, obviously, and what each card does, but it all works very nicely, and they were kind enough to give me a copy so I can play around with it and write something about it. So it surprised me. It's something I've never been interested in, and it might create an interest or something.
Well, I wasn't into tabletop stuff until the first PAX that I came to, and then started picking up a few titles and getting some recommendations at some of the stores down there, and some of them I really enjoyed, but I find the biggest problem for me, at least, is having like a constant group of people who are willing to come
play.
over and spend the time to, I've had some fantastic games, like the Game of Thrones board game and things like that, but you do get to the point where unless you've got that really dedicated set of friends who are as keen as you are on it, then you are whipping out the things just to do like a quick play mode, or the quicker games like Citadels and Coup and things like that can be churned through really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, well, this was good. Final War, Australian developed, so it's good to support. I hope to find some people at home to play with. I might even teach my eldest to play. That might be good. An excuse. It's maths. He learns maths, From
That's alright.
Isn't
There's a
that-
math teacher in the room.
Yeah.
Isn't that what
Saying-
Player 2 is all about?
Yeah. So it was interesting, and it's kind of, I guess, what PAX is about, and finding new things. Was anyone else tickled by anything in the tabletop?
Oh yeah, it was great. Loved it.
Hey.
Jen had a tabletop experience, so.
Toilet
Not a
top
PAX.
experience.
Loving life.
I actually haven't had a chance to go across tabletop. I have been so preoccupied with everything. If it's only one criticism I have of PAX, there's too much. Too much.
That's why you've got 3 days, Adam.
Yeah, that's the point.
I'm sort of interested in maybe going to check out the Dragon Ball Z trading card game they got down there, but I'd want them to run me through a demo.
of it.
Yeah.
That really helped. Like, if the bloke had handed me that game and said, "Here, play," I'm like, what?
And if you've got someone to guide you
Yeah,
through.
worked really well.
Give you the hot tip.
Yes, and I beat him. I beat the developer, but I reckon that's a media con. So
I reckon the developer.
It's like, oh, you beat me.
you beat
so
me.
good."
Oh, say nice things about my game. Yeah.
Gee, you're really talented and good looking. Oh,
No, he didn't push it that far. Speaking of good, this is a funny thing. At PAX, you've got to wear an R18 band on your arm whenever you go through the door. And the guy got quite indignant about it because I'd already been in with the press and I'd managed to miss getting one. And the guy cracked it at me. Said, "You haven't got your R18 band."
You
Said,
punched him. right?
Said, mate, it's not that fucking dark in here. I don't think there's any confusion.
Have you seen any 17-year-olds that look like this?
The hardest 17 years of anyone's life ever had to live.
My school was rough.
But there's also the panels and things. Was anyone catching any of the exciting panels that have been
Yes!
on? Yes.
Oh, yes, I have. So I've been to a few panels.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm sounding so excited is that the quality of the panels, the guests, it's been phenomenal. The best panel I went to was called Mortal Kombat, A Science of Violence in Video Games. And the panel was consisting of these people who have done these decade-long studies of finding if there any causation or correlation between violence and in video games and people.
He's
and
maths again.
yeah, it was just, but like these academics who are actual academics who are so good at communicating as well, just going into full detail about how they were studying it and what they were doing and saying like, oh, we used to use this, but and they said one of the things that they found out was that our brains are so good at deciphering between realism and reality and fiction that it doesn't matter how good or immersive that video game is, we know it's a video game. So if they're trying to test, say, the trauma on a brain, they'll show them videos of, say, people attending car wrecks, and they said people get traumatized by that, and they said they can't use video games because we're just like, oh yeah, well, you know,
It's a video.
Mortal Kombat, that's, you know, he gets his head chopped off.
So there's no Red Dwarf better than life situations going on here.
Yeah, that's it.
We'd know it's real. We wouldn't fall into the 3 months.
That's
sleep.
exactly, or at least not at the moment. I think if that's ever going to happen, it's going to be when we can manipulate someone's brain through a computer program or something enough that it's the brain then telling you what's going on.
Yeah.
And even then, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But like that panel was just so good because they even went into things like someone in the crowd went, well, don't we get desensitized to violence? And that's actually it's a topic that I'd always ask myself because I've done years of fighting and stuff. So now when I say if a friend of mine goes down the street and gets in a fight and then he shows up the next day and he's got a cut and he's got a big black eye and I'm like, yeah, that's going to heal, man. Like it doesn't really bother me, it doesn't freak me out. It doesn't make me go like, oh, I need to go kill people now because of that. I just go, 3 days from now, it's not going to look like you've been in a fight. And that's because I've been so desensitized. So if I see someone getting into a fight, I'm like, you know what, like it is what it is, but like obviously you want to stop it. Regardless of that. So I found I've been desensitized.
Yeah.
And what they were bringing up is that, yes, there is actual evidence of desensitization, but it's very contextual, and it's not even a bad thing. They said it's like if you go to a paramedic and you said, oh, you're still freaked out when you go to, see someone with their leg cut off in a car accident, you've got to like mentor them, and they said if they were freaking out all the time, they'd be terrible at their jobs. Yeah. And it's not that they don't care about the person, it just makes their job better that they can remain so calm.
They can compartmentalize that, but in another situation,
It might be different. Yeah, well, if it was their wife giving birth or something, it might be
Well, that's
completely
gross
different.
for like a number of
They used to use those videos initially, and here's because
what,
they
to traumatize people?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
so
what's
they said
crazy.
like here's a woman giving birth, and they said, but what they found is there was almost with men, it was about this 50-50 split of like men going like, oh, and other men going like, well, that's where we all came from. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, before I became a parent the first time, they show you that video.
Yeah.
And I didn't get freaked out.
See, I haven't seen it ever, but I know I would cry forever.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like, I don't expect people to watch and be all fine, but for me, I'm like, I guess in my head, I already had this logical, like, yeah, well, where do you think we all came from? Like.
I don't care, man.
Yeah, it's cool. So you're gonna be hugging that toilet a little bit longer. So,
The stork.
Stork, yeah.
Well, yeah.
The stork brought it.
Cabbage patch.
And then I went and saw how to be a shoutcaster with a whole bunch of League of Legends shoutcasters up there. Hingers was up there because he's new to the OPL.
Yep.
And he was maining that, but then they had a bunch of other, I think Rusty, he's one of the big OPL casters, and the difference between a play-by-play and a colour caster and how they work off each other. And even down to someone raises, everyone's shaking their head. So
OPL,
What does any of this mean?
OPL,
He's
for
talking
those who don't
gibberish.
know, Oceanic league basically.
I only know this through
Legends.
editing 2
Yeah.
years of Go for Pro articles from Adam.
So it's the Australian League for League of Legends.
Okay.
And Worlds would be like when all these different regionals get together and then they compete against each other. So that's Worlds. That's the big. That's like the Olympics of
Yeah.
the League of Legends. So
Okay.
and like well,
Probably
you would
less
think-
drug checks.
And you would think it's pretty easy, right, to just shoutcast about a game, but the amount of work that goes into before they even like step in front of a mic, like they know so much, and it's just bam, they rattle it off all the time before they don't even think about it. It's like built into their muscle memory. It's like, oh, that's the cooldown for that ability is on this, and he's going to want to use that right before he uses his thing. Otherwise, it's going to be useless, and he needs to save up this much gold to get that. That should take him about 13 minutes. And this player likes to do this move, so he's going to try and do that, or he's going to counter that. It's so involved. And no one ever sees that work. They just see them come up to the mic and then they're shoutcasting. And someone asked the best question, it was the last question of the day. They said, how do you not talk over each other? And I've done some like real amateur shoutcasting, like at some of our local events. And it is a big problem. Like you, sometimes you mesh with people and sometimes you don't. And then you end up trying to talk over one another. And they said, well, they use hand signals a lot as well. Like they'd be like, this means something, or this means something, or this means something. And they said like they'll do that bang. So if they go like put like something like 2 fingers on the table, they go, oh, I've got a point to raise off that. So yeah, like let me bring that up afterwards. Or if you're talking, they'll do something like not that, but something down here. Punch him in the arm, buggy punch. And they said what that means is that don't finish your point because I've got to add to that. And I thought that was like that's just so key because we just take it for granted when we see commentators. You go to any sport and they have commentators, and we just take it for granted that they can just work together. It's actually a really delicate and hard to do skill. It's not easy to do. So that was fantastic. I also went to an esports panel about athletic commission for esports.
How did you see any games?
Oh, I've seen so many
He's
games.
on
I've just been
all these panels as
I
well.
kind of think it's on once a year, so I'm just going to work my ass off every day and just see and do
Lots
as
of
much as
caffeine,
possible.
yeah.
I've had like 3 coffees today already. And the athletic commission was
Yourself
excellent.
caffeine.
Like it was another excellent thing because there is no athletic commission for esports, nothing. So if you've got a game and it's big enough to be an esports game, you're your own governing body. Whereas if you do something like football, there's a governing body behind that. And the importance of that governing body is so that that you don't have people doping up, which is actually a thing in esports.
What?
People take speed so they can play longer.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And beta blockers
Yeah,
to
okay.
reduce nerves twitching and things like that.
I think I need some of those sometimes. So,
That's
yeah.
probably the 4 cups of coffee vet. So
Yeah.
and missing water and throwing it.
Just have his nose.
And there was one lady on the esports panel. She's a professional CS:GO player, and they're about to launch women's only league for CS:GO. And it wasn't tension on the panel, but the main guy behind it said, as a commission, they would never support like men only, women only. He says it should always be open, but he went into why it should always be open. That being said, he's not saying that this other one shouldn't exist because it's pretty evident from an esports perspective. The 2 athletes that were up there, they said, look, people cop abuse no matter who you are online. It doesn't matter. It's like you'll cop abuse for A, B, C, and D. But when you're a woman and they find out you're a woman, it's now A, B, C, D, and now E, F, G because you're a woman. It's a much targeted set of insults. And not for any other reason except for your gender. And because people can get away with it online, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that in order for women to transition to esports, and for those who don't follow, about 98% of esports is men. And I don't like that because I feel that we should be competing on this same level and I want to see it, but it's not happening. So you need to have these other things, which if anything at all is a safe space, a nice transition. And if men want to sit down and men might initially think, like, hey, hang on, well, why can't we get special like treatment because we're men? It's like, well, the reason you don't need it is because you already have that stepping stone. Like, it's already there and it's already working, and that's why it's 98% men. We want women in here. We need a different stepping stone for them. And not to like build it in parallel to what we currently have, but to build it up here and go, okay, now go in there. It's like you're clearly at a high level. This team needs another player and you're good enough. Not because you're a woman, not because of your skin colour
'cause-
or where you're from,
just 'cause you're good at
because
the
you're a
game.
good player. And I want to see more of that. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen a female fight at an FGC event. It's not many. And then when I've seen a couple that are like do really well, and I think in Killer Instinct there's one girl called Pink Diamond. She's like one of the best KI players in the world. She's it. I can't think of a name or have seen any other one.
That's kind of sad. It is.
It is. It's very understandable. Like if you think about if like when we're all growing up, it's like, oh boys, go play your video games. Girls, go play with your dolls or something. No, video games are for boys. And if you have that culture for, let's say, 20 years, we've all grown up with this video game skill, and now esports is a thing, it makes sense. But that doesn't mean we can't change and do things to make it more accessible for other people. So I'm going to interview her later. I'm really looking forward to that, because I want to find more about this league, and I want to get the word out there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Any other panels anyone made it to?
Paul and I made it to a pretty
Exceptional.
interesting panel about how geekery saved some people's lives, including our illustrious editor here.
Yes, it was a good panel. Ken, actually, part-time video contributor to Player 2. He organised it with some much more illustrious guests than I. We had Alana Pierce from IGN. We had
nice.
Tim Dawson from Witchbeam, who created an Assault Android Cactus. And I'm terrible with names. Who do we have? From Armello. Created Armello League of Geeks. No.
I've just gone blank.
Pad. Quick. Researcher, put it on the spot. But yeah,
It's not on camera. It's fine.
we talked about how our sort of geek culture, I suppose, for lack of a better term, helped us through some sticky points in life, and how it's a really welcoming community and things like that. It went really well, actually.
Lizzie Kane.
Yes.
Which it was for the first 35 minutes, and then seemed like a lot of people in the audience had to pluck up the courage to start sort of sharing
The
some of
floodgates
their
opened.
own experiences.
Yeah, and it was really good to see, actually. So Ken, I know, was particularly worried about whether the audience would be invested enough to talk, but they got
I thought you were
involved.
going to say after the first 35 minutes, people got the courage to leave.
No,
There's only one guy that did that.
there was one guy that left, and there's one guy sleeping in the front row, and
Oh, you should have thrown your water bottle.
no, well, honestly, if it was any other topic, I was throwing lollies at this guy, but because it was all about being, positive and things like that, I thought that was probably inappropriate to throw the lollies at him. Otherwise, he was getting minties in the head.
Especially those convention centre lollies. If you've ever
They're
had
just
those,
rot.
they're the worst.
Yeah, not chip your tooth.
But yeah, it was good. It was really good, actually, and to hear how other people have used gaming or whatever to get them through meeting new people or getting through some anxiety or whatever the case may be, a stressful time at work.
Isn't it a trope when when we're growing up, it was always like, you can read a book for 10 hours, no one's going to bat an eyelid. You play a video game for 5 hours straight, go out and get some sun or meet people. And I've met so many people through gaming.
My go-to was more television. Like, my parents would not have cared had I sat in front of the TV for like 10 hours and watched TV. But if there was a point where they were going to send me to a shrink because they thought I was addicted to Pokemon. Like, we just don't know what's wrong. All you do is come home and play this game. I'm like, if all I did was come home and sit in front of the TV, you'd be like, you'd bat an eyelid. You'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, my mum never had an issue with me buying books, but if I bought a video game, it was you're wasting your money. Yeah, so,
Mortal Kombat 2 came out.
An elderly relative that used to always comment on the fact that my younger brother was, he's sitting in front of the computer again. He's in front of the computer again.
I still hear that.
Now he's got a fantastic job in front of the computer all day.
Yeah,
He's a graphic designer, and he's very talented.
Yeah, that was my always joke. You get upset I'm sitting in front of the computer, but you sit in front of the computer in front of spreadsheets all day.
Yeah.
Mine's at least fun.
I built some games in my spreadsheet.
But yeah, so it was fun. It was a fun panel, and it's always fun to be part of them at this really cool event.
What else?
So there's been a lot here, but
Cosplayers.
cosplay's been really good.
Holy
There's a lot
crap!
of Overwatch.
There was
There
some
is a
guy
Overwatch cosplay.
dressed in
I
like
didn't
this.
even play Overwatch, and I'm like, that's not
Did you were you going to say the Reinhardt?
Oh my
Did you see
god!
the Reinhardt?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So great.
Massive.
Oh my god! It was. I'm not talking. He just had this like these sleeves on. and made
He's
him
about 10 foot.
Yes!
Yeah, it was like
It
a
was
stilts in
brilliant.
a harness.
Oh man, that guy deserves some.
He was
award.
actually at PAX West.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow.
Yeah,
So
and
he
that-
just trips around.
and
How
they-
the heck did
they
he get
brought
that
him over.
from there to here?
No, well, they arranged to have him over because I've seen footage. He brought it out at PAX West for the first time.
So he's American, is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like him now.
And he brought it out at PAX West the first time, and the voice of Reinhardt was at PAX
Oh,
West.
Oh no
and,
way!
And so they got them together, and doing. There's some videos online anyway of that.
Amazing.
So he's come out. There was some really cool ones. There's a lot of Overwatch, like we said.
Yes.
There's
I
Overwatch
found 2
everywhere.
Kemi cosplays, and I'm like, every year, always at least one.
There was-
So someone brave enough to do a Kemi outfit. I'm like,
Surprisingly few Harley Quinns this year. I
Yeah,
thought there were
that's
I
maybe
was
good.
just about
Yeah.
to say the same thing. Very few Suicide Squad Harley
Yeah.
Quinns.
I've
Seen a few classic Harley Quinns.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all
'cause
4
the movie
Harley Quinns,
sucked.
but only one review one. I watched it for the first time the other night.
Was it bad?
I got like half an hour in. I'm like, wait, did I? Because I acquired it in unusual ways.
oh
I
yes.
was like, oh, did I?
Which means completely legally.
Yes, definitely very legally. And I sort of thought for a minute, did I lose the first half hour of this movie?
I heard the editing just
Yeah.
buried it. So apparently the trailer did so well that one of the 80 million producers on it went, we'll get the people who edited the trailer to edit the movie because it needs to be more in line.
Yeah.
And so this guy is clearly the smartest guy on earth. And it turned out to be just a terrible mess. I'm like, I'm really getting tired of these movies coming out because this is not the first time this has happened. Where they go, we lost in editing. It was too many directors or producers. I'm like, hey guys, you can't keep on using that as an excuse after the 10th time. It's like, I haven't forgiven you for Prometheus yet. Frick, I hate that movie. It's such a shit movie.
It was just weird. I feel like it might have been probably pretty bad, even if it was edited a bit better. But yeah, I was honestly sitting there thinking, did I fall asleep for a minute? Is this a huge chunk of story? Or?
Oh, dear.
I think the vibe overall of PAX has seemed a little bit more subdued this year than
Yeah.
previous years.
Yeah.
I certainly haven't been doing as much drinking this year.
Give it
Not
time.
yet.
Give it time.
The night is young.
Yes.
But I wonder if, obviously, they get a lot of repeat business, so I wonder if for a lot of people it's the novelty's worn off a little bit and it's just a
Yeah.
little bit more comfortable to
Yeah.
Kind of
slip
getting
into.
a
And
groove.
yeah.
I actually did an event before PAX. Someone's phone going off, it's probably mine.
No, it's
And I did a wargaming event, which was, because they don't have an event at PAX this year, so they ran one on the Thursday night. It's very interesting wargaming, and there was a lot of things like, the crowd is very eclectic. There's everyone from 15-year-olds right up to like 60, 65-year-olds. And these 60, 65-year-olds are people that actually drove tanks or fixed tanks or were on warships, so they go into this sort of simulation game for a chance to kind of revisit that from their youth. So I found that really interesting. I also found, what I didn't know they did was they go around to various battle sites around the world and museums and things, and they reclaim lost tanks and restore them and get them to the appropriate museums. So they've done that with a couple of Australian tanks have been brought back to Australia. The guy was telling us that the most recent one was a American tank that they found in Germany, and they restored it and got it back to the Smithsonian.
Oh, nice.
So that sort of thing I found it really cool, and it's such an enormous game, and it's an easy game, and warships and World of War tanks is an easy game to take the mickey out of.
Well, you know what? They're actually the only game that has more users than World of Tanks is League of Legends.
Yeah.
And it's not that much of a gap.
It's a massive thing,
Yeah.
but then they do something completely ridiculous, like announce their new commander for World of Warships as Steven Seagal.
And suddenly my love just down.
And it's not even young
Choke on your water.
Casey Ryback Steven Seagal, it's fat old Steven Seagal. So
So sad you didn't bring one of those posters home.
You know what's real sad about that guy? Like, he can't even get through a sentence. He has to take a breath halfway through. He's like, I'm here to present this new world of Warships.
That was just him realising what he was saying.
Yeah.
He's just-
oh.
And he wears big jackets all the time
Yeah.
to hide the fact that he's just a big guy now. Like,
Yeah.
you've got money, you can hire a dietitian.
Is he still like a sheriff or whatever?
He was
God.
always like an honourable type. Like,
He was
it was for the
actually,
show.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I
Yeah.
thought he actually like ran the law in a town or something.
Nah,
That would be really frightening.
it worked out good for the town because they got extra money and extra exposure. So they were like, yeah, you're an honourable police officer. And then they go ahead and take baddies down. And like there was one interview they did with some of the people. They said, oh, so tell us about what it was like working with Seagal. And they went, well, at one point, like they took someone down, like a bad dude.
Yeah.
The cops did, the actual cops.
Yeah.
And then when they're on the ground, they said the guys would come and went, oh, can we do that again? But like get Stephen in to like come and like put a lock on him or something like that. And I went, no, like no, we need to arrest this person. But he's like, there is a lot in there that's real, but it's like any other reality TV show where there is set up stuff to it.
I said too, didn't he get? Sorry, you'll probably want to edit all this out. Didn't he get sued because they conducted a raid on the wrong house or something?
I didn't hear about
I
that.
know that
That's
happened.
awkward.
I just can't
Let's
actually
keep it
remember
all
if
in
it was Steven Seagal.
That's, I mean, you know, I actually said to the PR guys at Wargaming and said, why'd you pick Steven Seagal? And they said, well, basically the thinking in Korea, where World of Tanks is from, was that they needed a famous celebrity that had been on a ship. And I said, well, you know, okay, Under Siege was good, but that was in 1993. And Gary Busey was in it, so he was clearly the obvious choice.
That would have been so good. What if Tommy Lee Jones? Like, just
Yeah.
get someone.
Gary Busey's mental as it is, so
Yeah.
people expecting him to jump up everywhere is just a complete nut job.
That actually would have been a really clever move.
I don't think the Koreans remember Gary Busey.
They probably just they needed the American naval hero. They
Yeah.
didn't Gary Busey.
Teamwork Gary.
Flipping out and driving the ships in the air.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Gary Busey in charge of a multi-billion-dollar battleship. There's an island there. It doesn't matter. We'll go through. But
I
yeah.
saw this in a movie once. I did this in a movie once.
Oh yes, Gary Busey. What a legend. So I mean, we're coming to the end of our podcast, and sadly, another PAX. There's another day here for a few of us, and a few of us have to sadly trip home. But I always
I mean, this is great. There's only a few, like 20 minutes up the road.
20 minutes up the road for the Melburnians, and we've got Stephen from Brisbane, and myself and Adam from Canberra, and Jenn from Spewville, and
I hate that place.
and we all head home. But I always astounds me every year about how the reason I come to these events is not so much the games, which is awesome. You get to play games, you get to see all these new indie titles, it's unreal. But it's to catch up with everyone, and it's a really good community. I get to see people that, you know, I don't get to see enough, and it makes it such a fun event. And video games with friends, they're a match made in heaven.
What are the signs that they say? Welcome home, and it feels like home.
Yeah, it does, and everyone gets along really well. There's none of that horrid
Bit of crap that you see on the
shit you see on Twitter. You know, no one mentions Gamergate. No one mentions.
And if they do, they get laughed out of the theatre.
Yeah, so it's very welcoming. It's very open to everyone's ideas, philosophies, religions, whatever it may be. So it's a really wonderful place. And if you haven't made it to PAX, I can't recommend it enough. Jenn will find out maybe next year.
Yay.
It's all right. We'll get a couple of drinks into it tonight, and she'll be fine. She'll be spewing for a real reason.
The,
Yay.
the alcohol will help purge.
Alcohol helps everything.
Does anyone else have anything we've missed? We don't want to, shortchange anyone. No. Jenn,
Nah.
final thoughts?
Shut up, I hate you.
Great PAX, one of my favourites.
Best PAX ever.
Hate Melbourne.
We're the most livable city in the world, you just couldn't handle it.
It was just
Most
too
viewable
awesome.
city in the world.
The inside of the toilet bowls are very clean.
10 out of 10, do recommend.
We can't guarantee they will be the same at PAX though.
All right, then we might leave it there. Thanks for joining us. This has been another episode of the Player 2 podcast. The next one we've got coming up, which will be about 3 weeks' time, if anything goes to plan, and then we will have the wonderful Sadistic Santa making a return for our Christmas episode. So stay tuned to who wants something interesting in their Christmas stocking. My name's Matt Hewson. You can catch us all on Player 2 and various spots on Twitter. I'll put everyone's Twitter account in the show notes. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
We should make Jenna play a spew shirt.